Whew, I don't know about you guys, but I am freaking spent. That was one hell of a presentation.
Oh my God.
Just, I mean, here, let's put it this way. It is now 2:30 a.m. Eastern time for all of us, because you guys are actually both in New York. The presentation ended at midnight. We've spent the last 2.5 hours just getting everything compiled, ready to go, uploaded, updated, whatever have you. But let's talk about the presentation itself.
About time.
About time. Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of you guys are already thirsty for this, so let's quench that thirst. So, Andre, what did you think of this presentation overall?
You know, overall, I thought it was really, really, really good. I mean, there was, you can nitpick it to death, which I'm sure lots of people will, including us. Mm-hmm. Overall, I thought it was a really good show. I thought they had some of the best trailers they've ever had. Period. Mm-hmm. Like, Zelda and Mario look freaking amazing. Mm-hmm. And by the way, forgive me for like whispering. I don't want to wake all our hotel neighbors right now. So, and also I should mention too, we're probably gonna keep this on the shorter side because we have to wake up in a few hours, and we're gonna be playing these games. So, anyways, in short, I thought it was great. I thought they did a really good job. There's some finer points we'll get into, but overall, really good, really strong showing.
Same here. I think it was really great. It was exciting. There was a lot of energy, a lot of hype behind it. I think once you start to read between the lines a little bit, there are some things to nitpick and there are some concerns, but taken as a whole, the presentation, I think, was great. And I really enjoyed it, and I'm super excited. Just as excited as I was before it.
Do you agree, Derek?
No, I totally agree. It was very lean, mean. The only part that really sagged was when they went to the third-party developers and then just sort of talked about their intentions for the system, which I guess is nice, but it also just sort of... it really fell flat. But otherwise, I mean, you're right, Andre. These are some of the best trailers they put out. I was, sitting here with you. We're all talking to the others. We're gathering the trailers and whatnot. And I'm freaking out about Splatoon 2. I'm freaking out about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm freaking out about Mario because I'm actually ahead of you guys because my internet's better. So, So I'm like talking about all this stuff that's happening in Mario. And you're like, wait, what? I haven't seen that yet. What's that? What's going on with that? And you're like, don't.
My stream totally dropped out during half of Mario too.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Our hotel internet here was terrible.
Yeah.
We were like panicking.
The funny thing was, I believe at one point you were yelling at me. It's like, stop talking. You're spoiling it for me. I'm like,
stop spoiling it.
Which, one is really funny coming from you. Two, I get that. I'll take that advantage since you guys will get to play most of these games tomorrow. So, or I guess today.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good counterpoint. It is kind of interesting how almost I'm way more excited to talk about the games than the system itself. Mm-hmm. Like, I think the games are, as they should be, arguably the biggest takeaway here. Like Zelda. I got goosebumps watching Zelda. Holy crap, that looks amazing. And the fact that it's now confirmed as a launch game as we expected, fantastic. March 3rd, by the way. Oh, man.
None of us saw that.
Yeah. No, that was way earlier.
As exciting as that is, it just makes me wonder why they really must want to impress people with the number of Switch sell-through at the end of the month, because 2 million for a whole month, that's not a very great number. So
the pre-order numbers out there are not great, so that might be affecting it as well.
Right.
Oh, by that you mean the amount allotted for pre-orders.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, GameStop's already posting little things outside saying, this is how much we'll have available to pre-order. That's not a great sign.
I think it's like less than 20?
I think I saw 38 in the picture I saw.
38, okay.
Which is not bad.
I do want to piggyback off of something Andre just said really quick. That Zelda trailer is like one of the greatest of all time trailers.
Period.
Like, I felt like a kid on Christmas. I wanted to just jumping up and down. I was so excited. Like, it's amazing.
Well, let's just jump right into Zelda real quick, because that is the big one. They saved it for last, which by that point I was expecting it. And
they really saved it for last. They kept kicking the can.
Exactly.
Let's go off and pass on to someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have you guys talk about it. Let's do that. Yeah. And then we get to the trailer, and it's the typical overview. It's like, here's these landscapes, here's these things, and then they got into the meat of the trailer, which I care about, the story stuff. We got to see Zelda. We got to see more voice acting. There's that one moment in the trailer that just stands out so much to me. I'm like, I need to play this game, and that's when Zelda's like, everything I've done has been for nothing. What's even the point? I'm like, holy crap, that is some of the most adult writing Zelda has ever had.
Yep. That's really it. It almost doesn't look like a Zelda game while still looking like a Zelda game. I don't know how they pulled it off. This looks like a very mature... I think this is the greatest chance Zelda has of reaching a demographic far beyond what it normally does.
Yeah, like I was telling Andre, like it looks genuinely dark in an interesting way, not in like that stupid hot topic way that Twilight Princess was, but like in a genuine, like it looks like there's some real meat here, like they're really earning this kind of dark tone that they're going for. And the part that got me was when it looks like the Great Deku Tree is talking to Link, and he's like, I can tell that you don't recognize me. It's time to tell you what happened 100 years ago. I'm like, tell me, I want to know what happened.
Recognize me or recognize Tree?
Too soon.
Yeah, too soon. No, they showed off characters. They showed off towns, and these towns are freaking huge.
Yep.
They are so in depth. It is just amazing to see some of the effort they're putting into this, and
it looks beautiful.
I
Just
so
looks
hope
straight
it
up
pulls
beautiful.
It
off.
looks amazing.
Yeah.
And
that game keeps looking better and better.
I so hope, like I love the characterization of Zelda in Skyward Sword. This looks to be a better characterization.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
this is Zelda
felt
having
real.
some real meat to do.
Yep.
I love that one cut where they both look like they're hurt, or they got scuffs and like cuts on them, and like Zelda's crying and Link holds her. Like this looks like it's going to go really big on the character development, and like any outside fears I had about Breath of the Wild being very story light and just kind of like communicating through the world and nothing else are gone. Like there's clearly going to be a very meaty story here in addition to everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks fantastic, and it just hyped me up more than any trailer previously for Zelda has done.
I absolutely agree. Like that is
Yeah.
that's one of the best trailers I've ever seen from Nintendo.
Straight up.
Straight up. Like I actually think
ever.
that probably is the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is saying something, because I might have said that about the Mario trailer that came before it, because that also, like, that game, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that game looks like just a culmination of everything Mario's been building toward all these years, which is something I could have said about Galaxy before. So the fact that I'm able to say this again is just incredible to me. And I'm glad how on point. I'm elated to see how on point my analysis was, as well as my most recent top 5 things I want to see. It looks like they're all coming true. So hey guys, you're welcome.
Hashtag humble brag.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, I'm gonna throw it out there. I was right. A lot of my predictions came true in this.
That's true. That's true.
It's true.
The thing that I took away from Mario Odyssey, other than I can't wait to play it, is I'm getting this Sonic Adventure vibe from I don't know if it's like the hub city or the New York looking area, but it's really weird to see Mario walking among regularly proportioned people.
So yeah, okay. So there was an asterisk by my trailer impressions, because when I
Right.
first saw the trailer, as I mentioned, half the stream, it didn't work with the first half, which meant I missed most of that city stuff. So I loved everything I saw. Then when I went back to watch it for this discussion, obviously, and because I wanted to, of course, it's a Mario game, I'm like, I don't know about the city, man. Like, that Mario art style doesn't mesh with the real people. So I'm hoping, I don't quite know what the deal is, what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird to me, though, and it is giving that Sonic vibe a bit. It's not enough to ruin it at all, but if I had the choice of that being there or not, based on what little I know already, I'd go, it shouldn't be there, but I don't know yet, so.
The thing is, obviously I got a Sonic Adventure, Sonic 06 vibe with just the realistically portioned humans next to these obviously just crazy looking characters, but I also found like Mario's like swinging off poles, jumping off a taxi, and like breaking the hood of the taxi.
It looked fun.
Jumping between buildings. It all just still looked really fun to do, and it's working for me. And actually, the funny thing is, the first thing I thought of was like Mario is missing.
Actually, that's a great
Yeah,
point.
that's a good point. Yeah.
But I think, in that case, though, the art style was consistent, whereas here you have Mario who's a human next to other humans who are more human. That's the thing that throws me off. That's
Right.
why I don't like it.
Well, the thing
Right.
is, looking at the trailer, and obviously we're going to do full-blown analysis, and I think that's probably going to fall under you because Mario is your baby. But just for
Baby
my...
Mario's mine.
That's a disturbing thought.
There you go. That's the real father of Mario.
I can just see Andre cradling Mario in his arms.
Oh my god, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think this is going to be like world to world. We saw like this hat thing that Mario is traveling in, and it
Right.
almost seems like he's going through different dimensions. They got this like sort of typical world and like the human world, and then we got like this sort
The
of
food world.
Yeah, the boo world. We got the
Or food, that's
food.
it, sorry.
Food. Sorry, I misheard that. And we got the like pixelated world almost, and just all the other, and of course the frozen over desert level. So
Where you're riding a sphinx around, I think?
Yeah.
something like that. It's crazy. It might actually. Is it even the Sphinx? Could it be the lion from Super Mario Land, the original?
We were thinking that.
I was
possibly.
wondering that, yeah.
Yeah, which would be a really random
Like
throwback.
Like if they're bringing back everything, because we saw him picking up turnips and stuff. That's Super Mario World, Super Mario Brothers 2. So
That's true.
You might be
Yeah.
right, Andre, about this just being an amalgamation of just every
Maybe
Mario.
Ash can tell you, like, I was sitting here watching. I'm like, man, I can't wait to dig into this for the analysis. Unfortunately, I won't be able to for a couple days, but
yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I really wanted to mention about Mario Odyssey is that I cannot believe Bowser's design and how much I love. He
That's
looks
great.
like a full-blown pimp. I can't believe that like they actually went all in with that design for him. Like they kind of played with it with his car in Super Mario 3D World, but he's like the outfit.
true.
Like it's crazy that
Yeah.
they actually are allowing him to look like that in this game. I love it.
Yeah.
and it looks like they're actually, based on the posters, like he's actually trying to marry Peach this time.
Right.
Yeah. We
Like
see that.
that part just blows my mind. I love it.
And we got those weird bunny people that showed up that were riding on
Right.
the airship. Like,
Yep.
what the
Yeah.
heck is going on with this story? Like, yeah, Bowser's trying to marry Peach once again, but there's so much more to it. And like,
Yep.
like I guess the big question for everybody is, what do you do after space? And I guess dimension hopping is. I mean, that's my takeaway. I'm gonna put that right there, right now. Dimension hopping is what Mario is all about this time.
That might be it. That very
I-
well
I-
might be it.
I-
Although
could be wrong,
the
but-
logo has him circling the globe, so I'm wondering,
It
is
could
it
be
dimension
like
hopping or is it
could be a world
globe-trotting?
tour? Yeah, that too.
yeah. I mean, that would make more sense based on.
Yeah.
We
the
have
logo and
what
everything
looks to be
else.
like the South American inspired
Right.
town, and we have what looks like New York.
That
So
is
that
true.
could be, yeah.
That's the only thing that I'm not sure about. It's like the real life aspect.
You know, it's actually almost like a Mario take on Sonic Unleashed, almost, which is
A
weird.
little
It's
bit.
like, so, like,
There's
Yeah.
a lot of Sonic takeaways in this. It's funny.
There
yeah,
are. Yep.
But there's just, I mean, the moveset. Like, you guys were, like, you remember your video, Andre, you were talking about you want Mario to have more moves. We see a rolling move. We see him
love that, yep.
throwing his hat as some sort of attack, maybe. And even the thing that just blew my mind, him throwing out the hat and then using that as a platform.
that was
Yep.
my favorite move.
That
I
was
saw.
so
That was really
cool.
cool.
So cool.
He's more agile. Like it gets back to what I was talking about in my Mario Run video, where
Yeah.
like I wanted 2D Mario to become more agile, and look at 3D Mario now doing the same thing, which is great.
And the other thing you wanted, which is a return to a more sandbox style.
And it seems
So
that way.
It
Yeah.
seems like we're
literally,
getting
there's a world full of sand.
that.
That's
Yes,
that's
indeed.
always Andre. That's nothing new, nothing special.
Yeah.
By the
That's
way,
true.
something Andre noticed when we were watching the trailer for the second time, at the very end, when it zooms in on Mario, you can actually see his individual mustache hairs, which is
Oh wow,
crazy.
Oh, I was looking
Yeah.
at the detail on his overalls, like how you could see them, how they were pieced together, like the denim. It's like
looks so
it's
good.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh god, like, I mean, I'll be honest here. I think, well, I'll save this for the end. So let's just go ahead and continue on.
Yeah, we got a lot to get through, and we don't have much time. So,
Yeah.
should we move on to? I think we should probably maybe take a break to actually talk about the Switch itself.
Yes.
Sure.
So
All
right
right.
off the bat, we have March 3rd release date, which we mentioned a little briefly, and a $299 price point, which is over what we were all expecting. We were expecting $250 with $300 being for like a pack-in game, and that's not the case. It is one SKU for $300. Is that a mistake to you guys?
It's
It's a
hard
gamble.
to say. It's a gamble.
I don't want to go and say it's a mistake, but it's a gamble
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, I think we've always said, like, we all expected to be within the $250 to $300 range. Most recently we were hoping for the $250 price point, but I think we always had acknowledged $300 would be possible, and it wouldn't be it wouldn't be DOA with a $300 price point. Above that, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think at $300, I think they can make it work, and I think they did a good job justifying that price today. Like, especially with all the secret or additional features of the Switch we didn't know about before,
Right.
Or not, at least didn't fully know about, like the supposed HD Rumble, which
Oh
we'll
my
see how that
god!
actually feels.
I
That's-
hope that is exactly as they described it, because
It looks
that demonstration
awesome.
was amazing. If
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
true.
the ice cubes, like if that's half as convincing as they make it look.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it looks like we have anywhere from 2.5 hours to 6 hours of battery life. But as owners of any device know, that can change so wildly depending on how you're using it.
Breath of the Wildly.
I know. Well, actually, Breath of the Wild, I think they specifically said 3 hours
Right.
on Breath of the Wild, which, again, is that at max brightness though? Is that with volume on or off? We don't know.
I'm gonna guess that that's probably not on
Yeah.
the least amount of features.
Yeah.
I'm guessing,
Yeah.
right? Otherwise, we would have given that feature that
Right.
figure. So even though they did get a huge range, considering that game is also basically a Wii U game, we're kind of looking at not great battery life for this thing in general.
Yeah.
I'm guessing for most games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could definitely see accessories coming out for external battery packs and stuff like that, or just ways to carry on a charge. But honestly, the battery life is, while an issue, I don't think it's going to be a major problem, especially because I'm actually kind of surprised, and I didn't even think about this. They have the USB charger packed in with the system.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
and it's USB-C,
C.
right, so...
So that's
So you should. I mean, a lot of people might already have a lot of cables lying around anyway, which is nice. So it's not like you have to have that proprietary cable now.
Right.
It runs in the same cable that you have for other devices.
yeah.
So that's a good thing. Going back to the price for a second, though, one other thing that concerns me about the price, I do think that 300 is the upper limit of what they could have set it at. But quietly, after the presentation, Nintendo quietly announced or let slip that online is going pay to play now. They are officially going the route of PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold, and now you will have to pay online to play Switch games.
And they almost slipped it in the same way as PlayStation 4 did.
Yeah,
not quite
basically.
subtly, but...
Now there will be a free trial period from launch to fall,
Yes.
which is when fall is when you'll have to start paying. But we don't know how much. We don't know if it's monthly, yearly. But that's interesting. I think it's going to piss off a lot of people.
It is. It definitely
No, it
is.
definitely
I
will
mean,
be, but I think it was going to happen. There was no way it was not going to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, and if the trade-off for that is we actually finally get better Nintendo Online
That's
service,
what I'm
it's
hoping.
worth paying for, in my opinion.
I agree with that. Like, if it
Yeah.
actually leads to better service, more games to support online, like voice chat, for instance, like
Right.
stuff of that nature,
The weird thing
you can
is,
justify it.
The weird thing is how they're handling a lot of that stuff according to this update, where it's like all handled through a mobile phone app. Where
Yeah.
that's where you can do the parental controls. You can buy games through this app. You can, talk with friends through this app. There's it seems like this is the online portion is through this app, and it just sort of centralized. It's almost kind of like how the Super Mario Maker app was, or the website,
Right.
where it just sort of connected to the games. I think that's like the best comparison I can come up with. And it's weird because if I'm going to be using my phone for voice chat, I might as well use the systems I already have.
Well, wait, hold on. Is that how that works? Are we sure about that? That you use the phone for voice chat
From what
itself?
For the
from
mobile
what
app.
we've seen, yeah, the voice chat is limited to the mobile
Yeah,
app.
it says, according to their website, it says, our new dedicated smart device app will connect to the Nintendo Switch and let you invite friends to play online, set play appointments, and chat with friends during online matches in compatible games, all from your smart device. This is not being handled by the Switch itself, it's being handled by this app.
That's what I'm wondering, though. I wonder if there's some... Like, if you set it up through the app, but the voice chat itself still happens in-game, like through the Switch.
Maybe?
Well, I mean, do we know if the Switch has a microphone? Because I don't think it does.
Yeah, we haven't seen
I
any
mean,
indication of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, so it would have to be through the app then, I would think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's a very Nintendo way of doing things. It's weird. It's
I
a very
have,
Nintendo
I have
way
to
of
say,
doing
on the surface, I think it's a good idea to have everything be done through the app. Like, everyone has their phones on them.
True.
That's a great way to keep people engaged with a Switch when they don't have the Switch with them. That's kind of smart. Like, if you can buy your games, everything through this one app. The voice chat thing's weird. I need to read more about that. I mean, we all haven't seen everything they've talked about. We were so busy working, so we got some more stuff to catch up on after this.
Well, and I have a quick counterpoint to that, which is I already have to use my phone to text friends when playing Wii U games online, and I've run into problems where my phone will die while we're playing, and I can't text them anymore. So I feel like this doesn't get rid of that problem. Like, what if you're voice chatting and your phone dies? Like, I feel like this is not necessary. On the surface, it doesn't seem to me to be the best solution, but we don't know enough yet. I mean,
Right.
It could be great.
It has potential, but there's also a lot of pitfalls that it could easily fall into, and
Right.
we'll just have to wait and see exactly how it all plays out. But on the whole, I think this could work, and it was just like the fact that you can order games online through this app potentially. Like, let's say we're all at E3 and Nintendo's like, hey, if you get this right now, you can pre-purchase this game or buy this game right now. It's available,
Right.
and we can just do that while we're there, get that downloading, and then get to our Switch. There
Right.
it is, ready to play.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
There are benefits to this idea, but it's not immediately evident, I think. So.
Well, we'll just have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see how it shapes up. Like, going
Yeah.
hands-on with it, seeing seeing how it works with the Switch itself. So,
So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, what did you guys think of the rest of the Switch? We got, as you said, Andre, we had all these new features that we didn't know about. Like, we got of course, the IR sensor, we got the rumble bits, and they make a point about how they took features from just every Nintendo system going up to that point.
yeah.
So
So I'm gonna throw it out there. I think I mean, I think they did a good job showcasing the Switch itself, its features. I mean, I think the presentation in general was well done, even with it being in Japanese. I thought they did a pretty good job of making it still fun to watch in English, or if you didn't understand, Japanese. The features itself, I'm going to say it right now, that IR feature is going to be one of those features that is barely used. Probably.
Yeah.
Even though it's doing some apparently cool stuff where it can recognize like gestures or hand motions, I just can't see that being practical long term.
It'll be like, Switch and Wario. For it'll be like, one minigame collection uses it, and then
exactly.
that's it. Yeah.
I honestly just see it there so they can have Wii ports or Wii HD upgrades and get ports Skyward Sword to the Switch easily. Do an HD version of that. That's what I see it for more than anything else. But going off of that, I gotta say, it was almost like we were expecting this to be a proof of concept of the Wii U, and I said this to you during the presentation, Andre, but it's almost like this is also a proof of concept of the Wii as well, especially that ARMS game.
That's a great point. That's something I didn't quite expect. I actually did call, I kind of expected a game similar to 1-2 Switch. Like that's kind of like right on with what I was kind of expecting.
Right.
But I didn't expect there to have such a strong Wii vibe, as you mentioned, between ARMS and 1-2 Switch. Like they were really going all in on the motion controls again.
Yeah, which was, I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
In fact, I expected them to kind of specifically shy away from that. And shy away from that because those kind of alternative ways of gaming, because it seemed like they were really targeting the hardcore crowd. But, maybe they're trying to grab everyone.
I have to say, I think ARMS actually looked awesome from what we saw.
I thought so too.
Really fun. That's a game I really want to try.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, besides Mario and Zelda.
Right, exactly. It's one of those second tier games, but it's still like a great second tier game. This is original characters. It's really reminded me in some ways of Splatoon because it's colorful, it's interesting, it has these fun designs, and everybody's springing and whatnot. It's just like I can really see people kind of getting into it, and it was like, I don't know, it's like Wii Boxing, everybody agrees, was the worst part of Wii Sports.
I actually liked it.
I did too, actually. Yeah.
Most people I heard thought it was the worst part. Not so, but
it was wonky. It
was very wonky.
You had to work within the limits.
They're really doing a lot with it, and it just looks like there's special moves, there's dodges, counters. There's you're moving around. It was a lot more active than I was expecting. I could see yourself getting a good workout out of that.
Yeah, the Joy-Cons seem to be basically Wiimote 2.0. That's what they are, and that's actually something a lot of people wanted with the Wii U. They wanted the next generation Wii remote, so it's kind of cool we're getting that among a variety of other ways to play with a Switch.
Yeah.
I do want to kind of throw out there, I'm really not sure what to think about 1-2 Switch yet. That's the kind of game it's hard to understand without actually playing it, but I do like the concept where, based on what we saw, it looks like a game not designed at all around the screen. It's based purely around the Joy-Cons. They de-emphasize the screen so much you barely even see it in that trailer. And it reminded me of that one, is it Duel or Joust? What's a PS4 game where you try and knock over other people's move controllers?
I
never
played
that.
Around
Talking
to the
about,
song?
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. It's really fun, and that's what it reminded me of. That a game based around real life movement without depending on the screen.
It was like using utilizing a video game controller for real life, the non-TV based games, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
I'll be honest, it reminded me of the Kirby games from Superstar where they had to push the button at a certain time in order to duel.
The Wild West thing.
The Wild West thing. I mean, it could be fun. It's simple, and as I said, it might be good for parties. Just bring your Switch, set it up on the table, give everybody a controller. It's instant pick up and play. I could see families getting kind of into this game, but I could also see it not catching on that much. But I mean, it's something. Although going off of 1-2 Switch, it's very interesting to me that the only games we know of right now to be launch titles for the game or for the system is 1-2 Switch and Breath of the Wild.
For first party,
for first party, yes.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was talking about or hinting at when I said when you read between the lines, things get a little dicier, because it actually looks like the Switch's launch lineup is going to be pretty not so great, and that's putting it kindly, other than Zelda. I mean, we got Zelda, I think maybe Bomberman's launch title, that was a cool surprise. But yeah, the Switch's launch lineup, they didn't communicate that clearly, and I think it's because they know it's not that great.
I think what they're going to do is they're going to go with the launch window strategy again. But we already know Mario Kart 8 is April. Or was that
April, yes.
April, right?
And then Splatoon is summer.
Right. So they're going to kind of go that way, kind of fudged it all together, I think, right?
A little bit.
Like, here's this, 5-month launch window.
Yeah.
All those games are coming during it, but I agree. I mentioned the predictions. This is something I did get wrong. I predicted 3 to 4 games from Nintendo, and we're getting 2.
Right.
And one of them, is, I mean, I don't mean this disparagingly, but one of them isn't really a typical Nintendo game.
Right.
I still think it looks fun, but, being 1-2 Switch. But, of course, Breath of the Wild is going to be a massive game, it looks
Right.
like,
Yeah.
so...
And we were all wrong. We all thought Mario Kart 8 or Splatoon 2 would be at launch, and
Nope.
neither is. So we were all wrong. But I do want to give myself credit. Sonic Mania, not during the presentation, but right after we found out it's coming to Switch. So
Exactly, and that was pretty huge. And of course, they showed Project 2017 again, and just some real surprises afterwards. Like, I'm actually, speaking of Mario Kart 8, I'm shocked they didn't show that during the presentation. Yes, it's a port, but that's still an exciting trailer because they put the focus on battle mode. They basically was like, we fixed battle mode. Here you go. And then of course we got the Splatoon characters as well as Bowser Jr., Boo. King Boo, I should say, Dry Bones, and all the rest. That was a pretty damn good trailer.
It was, yeah. I mean, they did, even though they had a trailer in the show, they did have it featured, on the Switch itself throughout the trailer a couple of times.
True enough. Yeah.
I think the reason they didn't emphasize it was because even though there is a fair amount of new content there, besides the battle mode, it is. Well, I mean, we don't know the full details yet, but they didn't show, as far as I know, they didn't show any brand new single player tracks.
Right.
I think they focus on the battle mode. So I can see why they want to focus on it too much, is because it is a enhanced port. But I'm excited about what we saw. Like, Mario Kart 8 is a great game, and battle mode is awesome. The feather is back. Hell yeah!
Yeah, the feather.
Now, how would you guys feel if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe only adds battle mode and battle mode tracks and no new single player tracks? How would you feel about that? Because we don't really know. Like, we haven't gotten any new tracks single player tracks confirmed. Now, depending on which rumors you believe, we could be getting anywhere from 8 to 16 new tracks. But they specifically shied away from showing anything in the new trailer. So, I kind of still think we're going to get probably at least 8 new single player tracks, but they don't really specifically say.
I don't think they mentioned any new tracks at all here.
That's why,
Yeah.
That's concerning.
Every track from the Wii U version, including DLC, makes a glorious return. But yeah, they don't specifically say
they could be saving it for a future reveal.
That is true.
But if it is just battle mode, then that's tough. I love good battle modes, but not all of them are good. So this one looks fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to play myself to see how it is.
Exactly.
So.
And we got new items, new characters, new battle mode. It does seem weird to not have new tracks to go along with it. I mean,
they have new everything except for
to be fair, going down this features list on their press site, I mean, they talk about battling on new courses, on new and returning battle courses, but reading this, I'm actually kind of starting to think there are going to be no new single player courses or Grand Prix courses, however you want to cups, however you want to say it. So I don't know how that makes me feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I shouldn't complain because there's already 48 tracks in the Wii U version. But I mean, I was kind of hoping for something a little more, I guess.
I agree, but I love racing in those games. Like, I actually like racing more than battle. So
same here. So that's interesting. I'm curious to see how that shakes out.
But I am excited by the fact that it seems to be the first competent online battle mode potentially.
Yes.
I mean, I guess we haven't seen the full scope of it yet, but that's something people have been wanting for a long time.
Yeah.
So if they deliver on that front, maybe it is enough.
And actually,
I mean, no matter what, if you haven't played Mario Kart 8 before, this is the one to get. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, just for online, ARMS is online, which surprised me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, there does seem to be an online focus. We might be getting our first online Mario Party at some point.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
But hey, I hope they start getting more online games, especially if they're charging for it. I mean, on Wii U, you're basically paying. If they did on Wii U, you're paying for 3 games online, basically, 3 first-party games.
Now, speaking of online, going back to the download service they're going to be doing, it says actually that for you're going to get one NES or Super NES game a month, but they actually specifically say with in some cases with online multiplayer added in to these classic games.
Wait, they said that?
They say that.
Do they?
They do. Which is really interesting.
I think we need a fact check on that. I want to believe you.
Totally.
Monthly game download. I'm on the page. Subscribers will get to download and play a Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, or Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Super NES game.
I believe that part. I know
with
that part.
Newly added online play.
Whoa.
For
all right.
free.
That's
I
awesome.
completely missed that. In my
I did
update.
too.
Yeah, I just sort of...
Yeah.
I was getting all these parentheses, and I just sort of skipped over it. So
I know.
But
so that's interesting.
Wow.
That's actually awesome. Actually, that's super awesome.
It's really cool.
That's really cool.
Depending on what we're talking about here.
I mean, I wonder if like some games are already kind of built with it in mind to some degree, like Double Dash, for instance, of course.
Well,
Well,
that's-
NES
have
and
the
Super
land
Nintendo.
mode.
NES and
Oh,
Super
you're
Nintendo.
right.
Yeah, this is limited to
You're
Nintendo,
right.
Super Nintendo.
Well, that's crazy then that they're
Yeah.
adding those online multiplayer.
Like,
games,
I mean, we
so.
could be like looking at like a soft X-Band revival, like playing the original
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat 2 on Super Nintendo Online or something.
Oh, that'd be
Well,
cool.
X-Band. That's something I've thought about. A lot.
I know, right?
Sega Channel.
Or Sega- yeah, so that's kind of cool. Or maybe it could just be something like Ice Climber or something
Right.
like that's
Yeah,
It's
Duck Hunt.
gonna be like top scoreless.
Yeah, or Mario Brothers NES.
Right.
Yeah,
So
or
we'll
something
see.
like
But that's
that,
kind of
but-
cool though.
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
If you could play old games online competitively.
Imagine if
just-
you
or
could play
co-op.
Donkey Kong Country co-op
Oh,
online with somebody
like
else.
that,
switch
or-
off. Switch off. Oh man.
Secret of Mana. Like there's
Yeah.
all
Oh,
these
stop.
All right.
old games that would really benefit from it. Man, that's cool.
Yeah,
There's potential there.
definitely.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we just have to wait and see what exactly happens with this. I also wonder too. I don't know if they clarified there. Do you own that game after that point, like the
it
pre-game,
does-
or does it cycle? Like, does it change from one game to the next game that you choose?
It doesn't
Yeah.
say it. It just says for free for a month.
Yeah,
and
I
They
don't
could
know.
cycle through then.
I don't know if it's
well-
going to be like PS4 if it's only going to be
Right.
temporary. It's hard to say.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
We'll find out.
Continue with online. We did get Splatoon 2, not
Actual sequel.
yeah, actual sequel, not a port or anything like that. Full blown sequel, and while it is disappointing, we didn't get it. It's not called Splatoon.
That's the biggest disappointment of the whole night for me.
The rest of it looks freaking amazing. The new maps, the new weapons, like those twin blasters, and how you can actually dodge roll in here now, and the fact that there's like entirely new special weapons to go off of. None of them are returning from the original. That just mixes up the game so much. Like there is
looks-
so much potential here.
There was so much crap happening in that trailer. I can't comment
Yeah.
on any moment of it because there's so much new stuff happening.
I can comment on one thing that stood out to me, and I think there was a jetpack or something.
Yes, one of the specials
That's
is a
awesome.
jetpack. Yes.
Okay, that was really cool.
That
Yeah,
looks sick.
my Splatoon knowledge isn't like Derek. You're with Splatoon like I am with Smash, so like I'm not quite as up on Splatoon as you are. But I thought that jetpack special looked really cool, and
Yep.
it looked like more of what makes Splatoon great.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and they already confirmed that they're going to have free download stuff after the game comes out. So they're going to get like what they did with the original Splatoon. They're doing again with Splatoon 2, and I guarantee, and I'm pretty sure they said this as well, that Splatfest or something akin to it is going to be in the game, which is
Of course they are.
awesome.
They have to be.
Like
Right.
they're
Yeah.
carrying this on. It worked the first time. It's going to work. It's probably going to work the second time. This is a perfect summer title. We already said that before, how Splatoon was just a great summer title. Like, it really fits the idea of summer. And
I called that, by the way.
You did,
The
yes, you did.
prediction,
Yeah.
yep. That game's gonna be huge. Straight
Oh,
up,
no.
showing that at this event, brilliant. Like
Yeah.
in Japan, especially.
Yeah.
Especially since, we forgot to mention this. Switch has up to 8-player co-op. Using the
right.
different systems.
Local,
Local
right.
co-op, I should
Local,
say.
yeah.
Yes. So you can actually have 4-on-4 matches in Splatoon 2, which is going to be huge for the sheer fact that maybe they are trying to get competitive Splatoon playing out there. Because you
Yeah,
can do
it
local
seems to be. I
matches
mean,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, they seem to be trying to position it like that. Now-
Splatoon is going to be big for Nintendo, that's for sure.
No, it is. And sorry, the 8-player co-op thing just reminded me of how awesome it's going to be playing Super Bomberman 8-player.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Talk about a cool surprise, right?
Yeah.
Bomberman is back.
Konami actually
Out
did
of
something
nowhere.
right.
Konami making a game.
Konami making a game. Like, Konami actually doing something right
Yeah.
for once. Like, this is crazy. It's not like Bomberman Zombies. It's just like Bomberman, the way we want Bomberman.
And
that was a really cool
cutesy.
surprise.
It's colorful. Like, it has that 8-player. It looks like it has a single-player campaign. Like,
Yeah.
this is a send-up of the classic Bombermans, totally. And I am actually super excited for that. And Puyo Tetris, not getting a huge reaction from most people, but I never really looked into it before, and it's kind of cool that you're competing while one player plays Puyo that game, and the other plays
That
Tetris.
game.
Yes, Puyo. Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Kirby's Avalanche.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. That's fascinating. Like, I like this lineup. I don't think there's a single game on here where I'm like completely down on it. Like, that looks stupid. No, most of them look interesting in various ways.
Yeah, another kind of weird surprise that took me off guard was Ultra Street Fighter 2. That they're actually going back and releasing a new definitive version of Super Street Fighter 2 with 2 new characters. All this time later, and you can choose between old school pixelated graphics or graphics redrawn by Udon. which I just read, which is kind of neat. So yeah, it's like this kind of Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD remix type thing, but you can switch back and forth, and they're adding new characters to Street Fighter 2. Like, that's kind of a weird,
That's totally wild.
Who
cool
are the new
surprise.
characters? Are they brand new or?
No, but not there. It's Evil Ryu and Violent Ken. So they're like, quote unquote
new. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
that way. That's
Yeah.
still cool though. That's
Yeah.
an extra step that you would not expect.
Yeah, exactly.
Great, but I mean, another big one that's probably going to be a fan favorite, I would imagine, is Fire Emblem Warriors. We didn't get any gameplay or anything like that. Just hey, it's coming, and I gotta say, I'm pretty sure this is pretty big for fans of Hyrule Warriors, because everybody that got Hyrule Warriors, like there are Fire Emblem fans coming out the wazoo saying they need to do a Fire Emblem version of this. There needs to be a Fire Emblem Warriors, and the fact that we're getting it is so cool.
That is going to be massive.
Exactly. There are so many characters to pull from, because there's like a cast of like 30 to 50 characters per game. So there's going to be a ton in there. So even if they play the same, they can still just get the characters in there, and they're like, okay, here's what Lance people work like, or here's what Pegasus Knights work like, or whatnot.
Yeah.
There's a lot they can do with this. And it seems like it's still pretty early in development based on the fact that we just got a teaser for it. But I think with the height of popularity that Fire Emblem's at, the fact that Hyrule Warriors did so well, and the Muso games just becoming kind of big, that's huge.
Yeah.
And I think it'll do well. And going along those facts, the fact that, at least in Japan, they're coming out with a bundle of Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 on the Switch. Like, that is a full-blown... Well, the original Heroes was available on PS3, but basically it's a PS4 game going to the Switch. And who knows if it's going to get gimped in any way, but I gotta say, graphics on most of these games look pretty damn good.
They do, I gotta say. And going back to Breath of the Wild, some of the stuff what I saw in that trailer looked beyond anything we saw at E3 in the Wii U version. So maybe we are looking at a slight graphical upgrade here. Never know.
Never know. Yeah. Yep. We'll see.
I do have to mention one other game that was shown. Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yes!
That's so cool and totally unexpected. I was like waiting for a Xenoblade Chronicles X2 or something like that. But no, they're going back to a sequel to the original Xenoblade Chronicles, which to me is almost like, is Monolith Soft just basically going to go back and forth between the continuities? Like, next are we going to get an X2 and then go back and get a Xenoblade Chronicles 3? Which is weird but also makes a lot of sense, because the original Chronicles is much more single-player focused. It's much more like definite characters, and we see that with 2. And
I love it.
We got definitive characters and a very likely strong storyline. While X is all about putting your character in there, and it still had a strong storyline in my opinion. But most will agree that the original Xenoblade Chronicles was better in that respect. I still love X to death, but that's kind of crazy to have like 2 different versions and each do very different things while having similar gameplay. And I am so excited. I have not played.
Well, more importantly, they're claiming this year.
Are they claiming this year?
They're saying it's launching 2017.
Oh my god!
That says 2017.
Yeah. No, Derek, I'm right there along with you. I mean, I really prefer the single-player, more story-focused direction of the original Xenoblade Chronicles, so the fact that we're actually getting a direct sequel and it is going to be this more single-player, slightly more guided experience and not like open-world-ish, it looks like, especially with these high-definition graphics, like, I've always wanted to see what the original Xenoblade would look like in HD, and it looks like we're kind of getting a version of that in 2, and I could not be happier that this game exists. I'm so excited for Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
I have to play through the original now. There's no I was already planning to do that at some point, but I figured I can wait on it since it's probably going to be X2 because X ended with a cliffhanger, so they'll definitely pick up there. Nope, I got to go back and play the original now. So. But I am hyped for that. Like, I became a Xenoblade Chronicles fan with X, and I am immediately ready to go back and see what else they can do. So it's cool to see that this, like, people had to fight for this game to come out worldwide.
Yeah, you're right.
And now it's become just a huge franchise for Monolith Soft, and I love that. It's so good to see that kind of just success.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what we can take away here is they did a great job. I mean, they did focus largely on games coming out this year, with a few exceptions. I'm guessing Fire Emblem Warriors, for instance.
Right.
I don't think it's anything of a release date for there. I don't think we're getting that this year.
I don't. Yeah, probably not.
But I mean, they did a great job showing off, like giving a variety of people a reason to pick up the Switch. I would say so far, like looking both at launch and then beyond it. We don't know the exact timetable yet for some of these games, but
right. Speaking of games that weren't there, though, I was right about this. Smash was a no-show. Actually, you and I, Derek, both were right about this. Smash was a no-show. Not too surprised about that. It was a little disappointing, but I kind of expected it. I'm thinking Smash is an E3 game.
I'm thinking
that's what
it
has to be an E3 game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That makes sense, and Inklings are definitely going to be in it. If Inklings are invading Mario Kart, there's no way the Inklings.
It's almost you can take it to the bank. Almost they have to be in Smash.
There's no doubt. And another no-show, GameCube game, like the Virtual Console in general. Like we know it's coming because of the NES and SNES games. Talked about in the online, but no mention of GameCube at all, and of course, no mention of Mother 3.
Yeah. Which now that you guys made a great point about this being a worldwide presentation, so why would they announce Mother 3 there? So I still think there's maybe a chance we could see it announced in some sort of Treehouse live thing going on tomorrow. But if not, I still think it's coming at some point to the Switch. I believe it.
Another E3 announcement potentially, if not tomorrow,
if not before that, yeah.
Or by tomorrow, I mean today.
Later, in a few hours.
Oh my god, I'm so tired right now, by the way.
You're weak. I'm still going to be up for another few hours after this.
Sorry, man. One other no-show, though, Mario and Rabbids crossover.
Is
so weird.
Well, Laura Kate Dale did come out that she would that she wouldn't be surprised if it got pushed back to E3, which honestly gives her a lot of stress because that's something people can hammer on. Well, you were wrong about this, so that's unfortunate for that. But I'm also not too surprised because Rabbids just seems like such an American branch. Like I can't imagine the Japanese aspect of all this to really like, oh, cool, Mario and Rabbids. No, show Mario.
I think it's kind of telling the fact that after the presentation, none of us thought about that game for like an hour after. I think it was you, Ash, that mentioned. Yeah. I was like, hey, by the way, there was no Rayman or Rabbids and Mario. It's like, oh yeah, there wasn't. I mean, I think that shows that they had a pretty well-rounded conference here.
Right.
And that Sizzle Reel showed off a lot of different games, like Rayman Legends. That port is happening. That rumor was true as well. So there's plenty of games coming.
Yeah, and by the way, something else I saw, which I haven't seen a lot of people talk about. Apparently, I Am Setsuna is also coming to the Switch.
I thought I saw that game. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So that's kind of a weird, kind of random surprise, but it definitely seems like, obviously we got no major Square Enix announcements other than that new Octo something. I can't remember the name. Octo Traveler.
Octo Traveler or something like that.
Something. Yeah. But it's very clear between that and I Am Setsuna, Square's clearly working with Nintendo on the Switch.
Oh, yeah. And
they haven't said anything.
And of course,
major
Dragon
yet,
Quest.
And Dragon Quest, yes. Yeah. So.
Well, that kind of brings up a good point, though. Like, there weren't a ton of third-party games here. Like, there are big third-party games, I would say. Like AAA.
Yeah.
Right?
Not really. And like Atlas was announcing something related to Shin Megami Tensei. That kind of flew over my head. Like, they showed off a bunch of the monsters from those games, and they showed 1, 2, 3, 4. But I was like, is that collection coming to Switch? It's hard. I don't know. I'm sure there's some details out of it, but I have not had time to look at that. So, again, I don't know what's going on there. But you're right. I wouldn't say there's any massive third-party games. We just had a lineup of developers coming out and saying, hey, these games are coming, or we're excited about the Switch. Although, to be fair, as much as people might give heck to EA when they're like, we got FIFA, we got your sports, that's still big for the Switch.
That's big.
Because I don't remember sports games really coming to the Wii or the Wii U at all. So the fact that they're actually getting these sports games is a sign in the right direction of third-party support.
Well, we should mention, though, actually EA did support Wii early on.
True.
Like, they had a few Maddens with motion controls.
Oh, that's right. The bogus motion controls.
I mean, we've said it before, but I mean, it really just depends on how the Switch performs. If the Switch makes money and performs well, then we're going to see third parties on there. If it doesn't, we won't.
And I think E3 is going to be very telling. I think in terms of third parties. Like, I think that's where we'll get a lot of potential big announcements if there are some to be made. And a lot of that might dictate or depend on how the Switch does before then, So I do have a feeling we may not be getting a ton of third parties in the first year, though.
It does seem like that. And more than ever, I'm really worried, and I really hope that Nintendo doesn't kneecap themselves with the Switch's launch and by botching it like they did with the NES Classic. But as we keep hearing about these low pre-order numbers per store, I'm starting to think that this thing's going to be almost impossible to find at launch.
Especially if their 2 million figure we mentioned earlier that they gave out, I think, a couple months ago now was accurate.
Yeah.
Like we've been saying, if they're releasing early March, that 2 million figure does not seem very impressive.
No, and I already couldn't pre-order. Remember, I was trying to
Right.
pre-order one just in case, and I at least at Best Buy, already gone.
Yep.
And they're probably gone everywhere
Oh,
else
sure.
now too. So, God, I hope Nintendo can get it together for the launch.
They really
yeah.
need to. That's going to be a major. I mean, people will be excited for it. People will want to play it, but they need to have it available, especially with Zelda coming out.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to throw out there again, like how awesome though is it? It's March 3rd. I don't think anyone really expected that. I think most people expected mid to late March.
I mean, we're less than 2 months now away from the new
like 6
era of
weeks.
Nintendo console
Yeah.
gaming.
6 weeks.
Yeah, from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
6 weeks from Breath of the Wild. Like,
That's insane.
it was a few weeks ago that we were like, oh, it's probably going to delay to summer or
Right.
fall or holiday. No. Like 6 weeks, we're playing Breath of the Wild.
And they-
That's crazy.
And they're going all out with Breath of the Wild. I can't imagine them, like, I really hope they don't have limited quantities for the Switch because they're going all out. They got this special edition, the Master Edition, 2 new amiibos shown off for Breath of the Wild. And, like, there seems to be this massive marketing push, so have Switches available. Let people buy this damn system.
Those special editions, by the way, are kind of like another sign of this being a somewhat new Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like that's something they've never done to that degree before, from what I can recall.
Yeah, like maybe very specific games, but generally, yeah, they don't really go all in on
Like
special
what,
editions
130
like that.
for the
Yeah.
Master?
Yeah, for the Master
I don't think we've seen anything like that from Nintendo
Not that I
before.
can-
Well,
think of.
I think they know that they have something, even for Zelda,
Yeah.
very special on their hands.
That's true.
So they probably want to go all in on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Breath of the Wild's gonna be so good.
And
That trailer was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
I like the fact that those bundles, their special edition, showed us what the Switch box art's going to look like, and it's actually kind of interesting. They're a little smaller, clear cases with just a little red Switch logo in the top left. Very classy. I was totally expecting something more along the lines of Wii U with red all around, but no, they're going clear on that, which is very interesting to me, unless that's just a mock-up of what they're going to attempt to do. But granted, they also have like the box art for what Breath of the Wild's going to be, as well as what the back of the box is going to be fully laid out. So
Right.
I think that is probably the final look, and like I said, I kind of like it.
Speaking of colors, how weird is that second SKU?
So
It's,
weird.
it's literally the same, except the Joy-Cons are blue and red.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to have 2 blue ones
Yeah,
or 2
or
red,
two red
ones,
ones.
but I like symmetry, and that's gonna bother me.
I mean, I guess maybe it's already asymmetrical, so maybe they're...
Yeah,
sure.
and it's easy to
Yeah.
tell who's player 1, who's player 2, I guess, or something like that. I don't.
Maybe.
But it's not that navy blue Switch that I wanted, the console
I
that
know,
I wanted.
right?
Yeah.
Even the blue's
Cool.
not quite right.
But this
Yeah.
does show
Where's my
that
Game Explained version?
they're definitely
Yeah.
going to have decals and other colors and stuff like that
Oh,
for
yeah.
the Switch.
Oh,
Well,
those
there
would
already
be-
is a decal for by Hori,
Well,
Breath of the Wild.
yeah,
one,
but I mean, just it's going to be just tons of them out there. Like
Yeah.
I could totally see it. So
By the way, speaking of what you said about the Zelda box art, Nintendo of America, if you're listening, please don't gold tint our Zelda box art this time. Just give us the same box art that everyone else is getting. Because with Nintendo of America Zelda box art, we always get that gold version of it. It's not just the art. And I'm like, okay, just leave it alone. Let's have that cool art. Don't make it gold. It's okay. You just leave it the way it is.
yeah. Oh boy, but are we missing anything? Anything else that you guys want to talk
I mean,
about?
we could go on forever,
Oh,
but
yeah,
we probably
easily.
should cut it off because the longer we'll be playing as a game soon, which will render all these early impressions
Kind of-
meaningless.
exactly,
Pretty much.
and we'll be coming back later with individual discussions on each
Exactly.
of these games. So
We have a lot to talk
Yeah,
about,
there's-
so...
I'm pretty sure we have plenty of coverage to last us until the launch. So we're going to be kind of busy this first quarter, which is kind of crazy.
I just want to say, like, I was impressed overall. I have literally not seen any online reaction. I'm curious to see what people are saying about this. I don't know if you guys have seen more than me. I have no idea.
Not seen a single.
I've seen a
thing.
little bit.
I've only so my perception is purely based on my own. I've not heard anyone else's
Right.
opinions besides your guys's. I thought it was overall really good though, really strong. I like most of what I saw here. There are a couple of potential issues. The price, battery life isn't great.
Give it a-
but overall, I thought it was a very good showing.
Give it a grade,
Yeah,
Andre.
I think so too. I think the showing was good, but I just think that when you look at kind of some of the reality with the launch, it comes up a little short in terms of the launch lineup. But in terms of what the Switch is and what it's going to be and how much staying power it has, I think Nintendo's really onto something. Zelda's going to carry launch by itself.
Right.
I'm cautiously optimistic for what we're seeing here, because what I'm seeing is a few big games at tentpole parts. We got Zelda at launch, we got Mario Kart soon after, Splatoon in the summer, Mario in the winter. And within those, we got some really strong smaller games that are coming too. ARMS, Bomberman, Sonic Mania. We got all these like indie games. We know Shovel Knight's coming. There are games that are fan favorites that are coming to the system. So I don't think it's going to be the dry spells that we're so used to at this point. There's actually going to be stuff to play month to month.
It's about time Nintendo finally took that lesson to heart after saying that every generation. So we'll avoid the pitfalls of what happened last time. It seems like they're finally living up to that.
It does.
We'll see for sure, but it doesn't seem like they're finally fixing that issue.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say overall B+. B+, A-.
Oh man.
Oh god, I wasn't ready for this.
I wasn't either. Oh man. I feel like my early praise means I can't give it a B+, but it seems too low, but I think B+ actually pretty fitting.
I think B+ actually is pretty... I mean, I want to give it an A+++ just for Zelda alone.
Yeah, exactly.
But taking everything as a whole, I think B+.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if you cap how many points you can give Breath of the Wild's trailer, yeah, B+. But that trailer, holy god.
Oh my god. I got
Zelda and Mario.
Like, I'm probably going to sit down and rewatch it a few times, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the first thing I'm doing when I get home back to LA is like I'm going on an eShop and I'm just gonna sit down and chill out and watch the presentation properly.
Yep.
Because we actually had streaming issues right before it started, and I was kind of like looking at Andre's computer, but I didn't get to watch it myself. We had this crazy workflow going.
I mean, that's kind of a good point.
Yeah.
Like, so all of us saw like a slightly compromised version of this because we're all doing different stuff at the same time.
Yeah,
so
it's the same thing with
so
every Direct.
It is, yeah. So we all get like the different bits and pieces of everything. I mean, we went back and rewatched the key things, of course, but yeah, there are a few more things I want to, when I have more time, I actually want to look into a little bit farther.
Oh, absolutely.
One other thing I want to touch on, we noticed today that it's called the Nintendo Switch Presentation 2017. So do you think that means that this is the beginning of an annual series now? Maybe we're quietly seeing the death of Nintendo Directs every few months, and maybe they're just going to go one big Switch presentation per year.
Actually, that's perfect timing. You start the year with a direct style presentation.
Yeah.
You have E3 6 months later. 6 months after that, 2018's.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
It's not,
and it's more consistent than Direct, so we'll take it at this point.
But I will miss them if that's what's happening. I will miss them.
Yes and no. I mean, there were a lot of Directs that felt like filler.
Yeah.
So
but the ones that didn't, I'm gonna miss.
It's true.
Yeah.
But now these are that, except potentially. I mean, we're just
we're speculating.
Yeah, exactly. It's pure speculation, but
right. But we get basically 2 E3s a year. I'm cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And could E3 mean something again for Nintendo? That'd be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So we'll see. But all right, I think that covers it for our Switch presentation discussion, first impressions. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, and of course be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on the Switch. All these games, we got closer looks, analysis, and actual gameplay coming from these two guys over in New York coming very soon. So until next time, bye.
I want to sleep.